Hello my dear friends, my name is Sergey Shuvalov, I'm the founder of MoChai, and today we will speak a little bit about Ganpao, or how it can be translated from Chinese, dry brewing of the tea. Pretty funny sound, isn't it? And why is it called this way, and what is it? Actually, dry brewing or Ganpao called the style of brewing when you use in tea ceremony instead of tea tray or chaban, which it's like almost wooden, mostly wooden or bamboo, or sometimes it can be also from steel or from even stone or from some other material, kind of a tray, sometimes with or without tray or with a tube, some special place, desk for brewing tea. And Ganpao, instead of this object of chaban or tea tray, use a kind of fabric. And you have vessels which you regularly use kind of a plates, and you use the same vessels like teapot, you use a sieve, some sieve holder or plate maybe also, and of course you use cups and also small plates for the cups and the fabric actually, so it's instead of a tea tray. This tradition comes from Taiwan and start being spread in mainland China. Pretty big amount of tea houses and tea masters start using this technique during maybe around 7 years ago. More and more also porcelain factories in Dehua and Fujian start producing a lot of sets for Ganpao. Start being present a lot of shops selling this kind of fabrics for creating this kind of atmosphere. The main philosophy behind, because it's a result of Japanese influence on Taiwan, Taiwanese influence on Fujian, and because of Fujian is one of the motherlands of Gunfu Cha tea ceremony, traditional Gunfu also of course was present in different other regions, especially northern Guangdong province, but still the Fujian is still the biggest source of the Gunfu brewing and kind of stylish brewing, how we can say also. Ganpao is of the modern trends. Now it's already not a trend, but maybe it's have a presence for many years. And more young tea lovers especially like use Ganpao because they represent it as a more mindful and more present, more maybe Taoist kind of tea practice, and you focus more on details, on the moves, mostly do all the moves pretty smooth. It's not for like sometimes pretty common type of tea ceremony, then like people just hanging around and sitting in some tea shop and even smoke or have some sunflower seeds and whatever, or and eat sometimes together with tea and joking and talk loud and so on. So I think that this kind of tradition happen present by the people who want to spread the tea ceremony from more higher scale, like to have make some kind of diversity from this kind of more rural, more common style of tea brewing. Then Gunfu Cha started being spread across China in late 90s. After more and more tea masters start using this kind of style. And the same with the old Chinese tea traditions, there are no very strict rules. Actually, you can use different vessels. Sometimes it's more minimal, like I have a lot of objects just because I like objects, but some masters just use one small teapot or one small vase with a flower inside. That's it. And also chaguan, the vessel for tea, tea caddy, and of course chahe was for presenting the tea, and different range of teapot and sieves and gundao bei, the pitcher and cups, and so that's it. Some masters use incense, some not, so it's really different, and there are no any strict rules. The main difference is, of course, it's using the fabric instead of tea tray, and more, more ceremonial style of brewing. Is still not so ceremonial as a Japanese tea ceremony, but still way more ceremonial than regular tea brewing on a tea tray. Of course, all the appearance of the tea ceremony mostly belongs to the master and depends of his own habits and his own style and view on how he wants to be present. Also, often the masters who follow this style also prefer to wear kind of natural fabrics. Sometimes it's kind of Taiwanese or Japanese, like or traditional Chinese, of course, clothes. Like mostly it's natural cotton or some cannabis wear, which is mostly like a combination of Chinese and Japanese, something between modern style clothing, and try to be more like minimalistic and more focused on inner aspects of tea, but not loud presentation. So often it's very, very light, soft, and gentle style of presentation of tea. I personally often use the same style of brewing because during my travels I can't carry tea tray with me, so I have my fabric and put it everywhere. If you follow my social networks, you can see that I often brew like that, and not all the time, especially when I'm in our tea houses and I do some ceremonies and I have a lot of people around. Of course, it's more common and more useful and more affordable to use like a big teapot and a tea tray, and you can just wash the water just inside the tea tray and so on. For here you need to use a special vessel. I use, like, for example, these small vase, but some masters use I also use some different vessels depending on what I have, because I am constantly changing all the objects and I often change. Of course, I don't have any standards because I all the time collecting thousands of objects and sell something and bring more different new objects and so on. So all the time have a kind of combination of very different objects from different places, and I like this link to the master I took it from or to the place where I found it and so on. So for example, here I have a cup from Zintagen, the Hinderfolk and Folk, and it's one Soviet cartoon Ежик в тумане, and this is made in China, but it's with Soviet cartoon hand painted. And also this is like a Maastricht plate from maybe 50s in Holland, and this is a Japanese Gundao Bei, and this is a French, just a small plate. Now maybe not French, who knows, but and a Japanese teapot in Iriyagi technique, when they mixed porcelain, colored porcelain, and this is from Thailand. It's a Thailand pottery, but a Japanese artist just hand painted all this geometrical ornament. And this is Bruno from China, but I bought it in Taiwan, and some jade also from China, some small vase from a Russian artist with hand painted eagle on it, and some other objects like random small statue, I think it's European bronze, and yeah, and some Burmese bell from a cow or something like, and Satsuma, old Satsuma vases, small vases from Japan. So this is kind of also Japanese Tikadi, pretty cool one. So the objects came, and this is fabric is from my designer who now lives in Armenia. Yeah, so we have, and I like this combination, Guanyin from China, from Dehua and from wood. And when I look on all these objects, I all the time connect it to the places where I get from, and I like this kind of enjoying of art and combining the other tea. On the tea tray you can also do the same, but we agree to create kind of a space like chassis, we call it like that. This kind of more mindful brewing, how we can say, like gunpowder brewing, we can use more space and you can put more different objects all the time, change it. So this is why I also like it to play with this kind of setup, how we can call it. Yeah, of course it's not a rule or a tradition, and everyone can do whatever you like with the tea, and when you have this kind of setup, you just all the time also be more present, be more relaxed, and also focusing on these small objects is kind of a ritual which brings you calmness, which brings you passion. Over time discover something new, and because during tea we also became more attended, how to say, present, and we see some more detailed things in the objects which is surrounding us. So this kind of setup gives you more detailed view on what you're doing. So this is why I also like Genpao. But still, as I already told, it doesn't mention that more traditional Gunfu Chao and a tea tray is something which is worse or whatever. It still belongs to the master and belongs to what you're doing. So thank you very much for viewing. I really appreciate your feedback and comments below. Please leave your message. Maybe if you have some questions, I really pleased to ask. Please subscribe my channel, push notification bell. I really appreciate that because I'm still pretty small on this channel, so I like to make it grow. And if you have any ideas for new videos, also please share. Soon we'll have a lot of content from Asia, because now after COVID crisis finally all reopened, so I will film a lot as it was before from China and from other countries, from our own factories in Thailand, Georgia. So let's drink good tea. Have a good evening, day, whatever. Drink nice tea and see you next time. Bye.